Beautiful. Well, GM, everybody, welcome to another episode of Wake and Jake. We are back from a week off. We had some exciting stuff going on last week, but happy to reconvene with everybody and see everybody again here. Jake, I did want to let you know while you were out partying and having fun in New York, we did get our first ever show hate mail. Sorry to inform you. Yeah, so when we didn't go live on Monday, Bitcoin dumped pretty hard, man, and understandably but fortunately, we are here back now, and Bitcoin is pumping once again, as the prophecy has foretold. So happy to be back. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Wait and Jake, we're going to go over some stuff for the week. Of course, this is none of this is financial advice. We just kind of want to talk through everything, get everybody focused up, talk about some stuff that happened last week, talk about some stuff that's going to happen this coming week, and kind of get on the same page. But Jake, how are you doing today, brother?
Yeah, man, I feel bad. First missed show. My apologies. I know it's probably my fault that everything dumped. But hey, we're back now and we're pumping again. So the correlation between the shows is really working out well. I think you can just throw in a short if we're not in, throw it along if we are in, and you make money, right? Completely joking. Not financial advice, obviously. But we love to see the market ripping again. Yeah, had a little break last week. Did a little family vacay for spring break. It was real nice. Then headed out to NYC for NFT NYC. Got to meet a bunch of MVHQ folks. Thank you all if you're here. Like if you came out. If not, hope to see you at the next one. Absolutely. It was a really great time connecting with everyone. Eating some good pizza, eating some good food, getting some drinks. Yeah, man, it was a great time. Hope you're able to make up to the next one, THC.
I'd love to, man. The FOMO was insane. Man, can you tell us about NYC for the people that didn't make it out, for the homebodies and parents like myself? Could you maybe give us a quick rundown how things went? It looked like a blast.
Yeah, we were at a place called Ace's Pizza. It's actually Dive Bar Rules works there, fellow member. He hooked it up for us, thankfully. Over in Brooklyn. Nice little spot, great pizza, great food. Yeah, it was we had open for about 4-hour event or so, and had a bunch of people coming in and out. It was pretty packed in that spot. Yeah, it was great to catch up with people. It wasn't it was a very chill vibe. It wasn't like music blaring, so you couldn't talk to anyone. It was good to meet those who I hadn't met before, and then connect to other people who hadn't met before, and then we kind of just bounced a few of us out, to some oysters and some drinks afterwards as well, and I think some of us do it to like the Pudgy Penguin party later after that night. But yeah, all in all, it was a great trip.
Tied.
Yeah, I don't know if you're getting rugged. I feel like you are going in and out sometimes.
Oh, let me take care of that one sec.
Yeah, I noticed it too. I wasn't sure if it was on my end.
Yeah, I did see it stop lighting up. That was odd. I killed the VPN. Maybe that'll help. And I was asking, that all sounds dope. I was going to ask if there were any official events or anything like that, or if people even went to those anymore, or if it's just like parties from individual projects.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't gone to the official events since like the first year because it always seemed like a rug to me. No, it's all the satellite events are the ones to go to.
Figured. Okay, cool. Gotcha. That's the alpha there. Well, sweet. Awesome recap, man. Wish I could have been there. Tons of fun watching from the sidelines. But okay, we can go ahead and get into some market stuff. Do you want to kick us off like usual with some sort of macro Bitcoin ETF talk, or how do you want to get us warmed up here?
Yeah, we can get into it. Obviously, we woke up to some green today, so that's awesome. Across the board too, Bitcoin back above 70K, pushing 72K right now. I mean, I'm feeling bullish. I don't know about you guys, but this is looking really good. We had a lot of concerns over some consolidation after the previous all-time high break. and not much of follow through. And then we kind of tank back to a little bit under 60K for a little bit. We've kind of just been chopping around for a few weeks. But I think this recent reclaim here up to 72 is a very strong move, an indicator that, in my opinion, we're going to start going a lot higher here very soon. So I'm feeling great. If we look back at some of the ETF stuff, I think it supports it a bit too. Last week we had it started off with it. If we're looking at the flows, I'm going to pull up. I'll link the DGN Finance that I was reference, just gives a quick little view of the Bitcoin ETF flows in and out of these different funds. Last week, total on Monday was negative. It started off not great. As you referenced, the price was down, but we didn't have Wake and Jake last week. And then each day it went up, thankfully, back in the green. Notably, I think GBTC selling, which is the big overhang that we had to price with these ETFs, has slowed down considerably. It was by far the least amount of selling we've seen in the past weeks, and I think a lot of it was because of the slowdown was that Genesis, this bankrupt crypto firm, I don't know if you remember from previous cycle, but they went bankrupt. Being a little too degen, they had 2.1 billion in GBTC locked up that they were forced to sell, and they are now done selling that 2.1 billion. And if you look at what that number means, I guess just within the last 2 weeks, total outflows for GBTC equaled about 2.1 billion. So that's quite a bit. I think they were a pretty big player in that selling previously, so hopefully that slows down considerably now that they are all done selling. They have no more GBTC left to sell. I think that overhang being gone should certainly help price as well. And another thing I wanted to mention was I was trying to find this graph. I saw it earlier. I couldn't find it again, but it's basically, if you look back on historical BTC price, really in like the last 3 cycles, I believe, once we crossed the previous cycle's all-time high, so that would be 69K for this cycle, which was previous cycle's all-time high. Once we've crossed that, in like the previous 3 cycles, we consolidated for a bit afterwards, meaning people took profit. People were too risk on, and they were getting flushed out with open interest being too high. And there was just a few weeks to a month or so of just chop with price in a range, and then after that chop decided, we just fucking sent. just the price went crazy. Last cycle in 2020, late 2020, early 2021, I believe Bitcoin price doubled within 2 months, and it tripled within 3 months. So I think history doesn't. They say history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. And I think there's a lot of takeaways from that, and it looks very similar to these previous cycles. What's happening now, where we had the all-time high break, I think in early March, right? And now we've had consolidated for a bit, and now we're pushing back up towards sending again. I think in the very near future, we can have some very good price action. So I'll stop there for now, but
thank God. Yeah, man.
I think it's very bullish.
Man, apologies to everybody that's wearing like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch that's getting the heart rate monitors right now, for like you're having a stroke. But it's not waking Jake without Jake saying send it higher. Am I right?
I just took a shower and I already need another one.
That's
man.
Beautiful, man. I was going to ask what any of this means, or if any of this means anything for ETH, man. What about ETH?
Yeah, so I think that's
Yeah,
another thing that we've changed trend a bit is look, East's showing some strength, at least in the recent days. And a lot of smart people that I follow. Sorry, someone had the
Riley.
Kinshow, how Mike? I got it.
Anyway, where was I?
You're about to tell me how ETH is
does-
about to rip.
We're showing a lot of strength. If you look at ETH BTC ratio, it seems like it might be forming a bottom and bouncing a bit potentially. I think there's a lot of reasons for this as well, where we saw the Bitcoin ETF, how well it did for the price action, and what's next, right? It's the ETH ETF. Even though right now it seems like the market is leaning towards it not being approved by the May 31st deadline that the SEC has to respond to those pending applications for the ETF. I think Polymarket has it. Last time I checked, it was like a 30% chance that it would get accepted. So it's not like there's a 0% chance that it's going to get denied or delayed. There's still definitely a chance, but the market is leaning towards the delay. Regardless of that, I think people are still expecting it to come eventually. If you like BlackRock, BlackRock, submitted an application for the ETF, and the record for ETF approvals is 576 to 1. Like, pretty damn good record, I'd say. So I think people are expecting that to get approved, even if it does get delayed, the decision making. I think they're expecting it to get approved eventually. SEC has shown some hostility towards ETH recently, but I think I've seen a lot of legal opinions. I'm not a lawyer by any means, but I've seen a lot of legal opinions saying that's a very uproad battle for the SEC to fight. Like, they don't have a ton to stand on, especially after the Bitcoin ETF approval. So there's those headwinds. There's those I guess tailwinds coming for ETH, as well as the fact that ETH just lagged Bitcoin quite a bit in this cycle, and it's still a premier asset. Everyone uses ETH. There's still so much built on top of Ethereum. It has all of the metrics of users, utility, even if they're not on the L1 itself. The L1's still being used as well as the currency Ether is still being used across many different ecosystems, including some really rising ones like Base and Blast, for instance. So I think all those things together, I think ETH really has a chance to start showing itself. It's hard to try and be early on the ETH trend because it hasn't happened like this whole cycle so far. It's been lagging behind Sol and behind Bitcoin. So I wouldn't fully jump on board right away until it's signs of the continued trend. But right now, I think it looks very promising. So I'm hoping our ETH bags start to rise here, and we can not be coping as much. Yeah, that's how I feel about ETH right now.
Well said, man. Wow. I'm just sitting here. I have a single tear rolling down my face. Happy tear. It's just crazy how far we've come. The legal groundwork is there and stuff. It's wild. It's just like to sit back and be like, damn, kind of think back to like where we were and where we are now. Like, everything is just like so much more legitimate, and it's crazy. It's like it's happening. It's happening. All right. Well, I'm definitely in a better mood now, man. Thanks for lifting me up this morning. Needed all of that. Anything else market wise that you want to touch on, just generally before we jump into like some specifics? Different things to look out for the week.
Jim.
G to the M.
I'm gonna jump in here. Tensor airdrop.
Oh, we're gonna get there. It's Tensor Day. Happy Tensor Day.
Happy Tensor Day.
Yeah, man, we can talk about Tensor for sure. If you guys haven't checked already, you can claim your Tensor now. Solana's still having issues, but just go to time sensitive. I think pretty sure there's a link there to claim. You might have to use Soulflare like Jinzo, pointed out, or well, like Naruto, I should say, pointed out, because of all the issues. If you want to blame it right away and try to fire it off, but yeah, man, I don't know. I'm like, I've seen a lot of FUD on the timeline. I haven't like looked into it deeply because I've been doing like research for the show this morning. It seems like I got like I don't think like I had a Tensorian, so like I was expecting to get some. I got like 3,200 for like having Tensorian and staking it. I don't even know if that's like good.
It's okay. But
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't seem like a ton for like having their asset and staking it for a while, but and doing volume.
yeah, like I've been fighting them on this on your show for a while, right? Like the company's pretty bad and don't know what they're doing, but yeah, they really fucked over the stakers, I'd say, because like they got like peanuts compared to like what the farmers got, and I guess like that kind of is something, and like you get wormhole and dim and whatever, so it does kind of make up for having a tensorian stake. But like if you had multiple, you just got screwed. Like there's some people that had like 10, 20, 50 of these stakes.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck.
I agree. Let
That's
me
like,
just jump for 1 sec. I agree with you, and I feel like you're right. Like I never wanted to buy too many for that reason because I figured diminishing returns and all that. But at the same time, as a company, you release an NFT, it flies to like 100 SOL, and now people are expecting you to give back the value of the NFT at its peak. I mean, it's unreasonable. People just got a little crazy, and they got too ahead of themselves when it came to buying these tensorians and staking them. So it's almost you can't really realistically expect to get back what you put in, because then you're expecting to get a large portion of the airdrop, and to make up for the fact that the tensorians are going to tank. I mean, people just had to think through it a little bit better, because it just got too crazy.
I agree with you to some extent. I just disagree because even in their referral system, they have a huge bonus for having 10 and 50. So, you know, did do people have unrealistic expectations? Yes. Could they have tempered it at all? Definitely, 100%. Right.
Agreed.
Like
Yeah.
they had every step of the way. They changed the rules like many times throughout. Like if you did price locks in the last week, you probably like made more points than like the whole time people spent farming. So it's like people were already upset with them changing the rules, like with the purging and all that. Like I got clipped big part like from soul maps. Um like I got
Bro,
probably half of what I should
same.
have got, but still, still made a lot. Right. I'm happy. And I think like the good thing is like we've been saying it since we've been in here. Like the real reason to have a Tensorian was like for referrals and airdrops. So like if you just had one, like you're completely fine. But those people that had like multiple, just they're just dead, right? Like I don't know if you saw Mooncat, but I think he lost like 1,000 soul, um, just because he
Wow.
bought like the top, and his airdrop was like 28K or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a big loss.
But no, I mean like agree to you. Like with all these farms, it's always going to be our expectations can get too high, but at the same time, I think when you're trying to run a company and you're trying to especially Vampire Attack, right? Let's be real, that's what Tensorian was. Vampire Attack on Magic Eden, you gotta temper those expectations a bit or make it clearer.
Yeah,
Just
and
my
then
2 cents, though.
Magic Eden fought back also, and a lot of people were like, it kind of rifted it, right? I think it even
Hmm.
limited the upside for the Tensorian airdrop because of how many
Exactly.
people were bullish on Magic Eden. It's good for them that they fought back. I like Magic Eden, but it is what it is. You play this game, and sometimes you get burned. Some people made
Hmm.
money, and some people got wrecked.
Hey, but we were early, so our cost basis was so much lower, like on a lot of these farms and stuff. And like if you LP'd, it was like pretty much free.
Yeah, and
So
USD value, we did okay. Like, I mean, we bought Tensorians when I think Sol wasn't even at 100 yet, and we were buying them. So it's not
it's
a
like
huge deal.
60, I think.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have
$60.
even been holding all that Sol. I probably would have done something else with it because there's so much going on. So I don't really consider it a big loss for me. I think I did come out profitable. You can't look at it and be like, oh, I would have just held the Sol. No, you wouldn't have. You know what I mean? You would have done something else with it. Let's go.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, it's part of the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You can't imagine a company is going to act against their own interests like this one has so much, which is why I've been saying like Magic Eden is going to eat their lunch, and so end of the day, cook's a cook. Move on to the next farm.
Yeah, good shots all around. I like what you said there too, Jens. I think part of the Soul run up can be credited to just Sensorians and Madmen like going so hard, or Mad Lads going so hard. Like at least to me, that was kind of the narrative that I saw from the outside. So maybe had everybody not win as hard, maybe Soul as the ecosystem wouldn't have ripped like it did. So it's a lot of different ways to slice it.
I agree there, and you could see the other side of it now with all this congestion. You have the other main coins running, and Sol is kind of dipping because people can't really do anything on the chain. So sentiment's changing, at least short term. So I agree. Like that kicked off Sol Summer. It wasn't really shit coins. It was really tensor trading, and you know what I mean. All these airdrops coming. It really was that kicked it off. Mad Lads or whatever. So yeah, 100%. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, and you know why? Like the chain is shitting the bed, right? Like it's this ore dot supply thing. Like people are just proof of work mining and jacking up prio fee for like fucking 5 days now or something. So it's like just clogging it up. I mean, if you go to ore dot supply, you'll see it like every second. There's like hundreds of transactions like being mined for this thing.
So what is it? I haven't had time to dig in. I just figured Solana was shit in the bed. It needs to be, turn the router off and on again. It's called OR. People are mining this.
Yeah, it's called OR, and it's just like a proof of work thing. Like you can run it in the browser on an application. Just uses like your GPU to mine some tokens, and that's basically it. There's no like use case or anything, but it's just like here's proof of work on Solana, and a lot of people are hitting it hard. Speculators, whatever. Actually, I don't know if there's a use case. There probably is one down the line, but nothing that I know of. But
So
yeah,
it's like sounds
good
with extra steps.
Yeah, I mean, like if people think it's shitcoin season, right? And this looks like an actual product, and you can mine it for basically whatever you pay priority fee on. Like people are gonna mine it, right? Because it has some value. I think the market cap's pretty high now. I mean, like it's hard to find shitcoins that are good in general, and it's a narrative, I guess, to rally around, which is why people have been doing it. Yeah, but if you look at it, just go there, like go to order.supply, and you'll see it's like hundreds, if not thousands, of transactions a second.
Oh no, I guess there's been similar-ish things, but I guess it's only a matter of time now for one of these pops up on ETH. If this pops off, and that'll just completely fucking break the chain, right?
Reminds me of sunflower seeds on Polygon, and that destroyed the Polygon chain. But yeah, I think even like the founder of this ore supply thing was like, should we turn it off so that Solana could work again? Like they know for sure. So yeah, it's like I wonder if this kind of thing like gets blacklisted eventually or whatever.
Yeah, to me it's wild. I just didn't realize that Phantom didn't have the ability to like switch RPC or like do cryo fee. Like that's just wild.
Yeah,
you can only use Rabby, no MetaMask. Sorry, let's be like so bizarre.
Sorry to derail, but yeah, I thought that was interesting.
No, totally fine. Definitely topical. I was curious about it as well, but yeah, or
baby. I think you're still getting rugged, THC. It's like going in and out.
All right, here I'm going to try and dig this other mic up. I'll be back. Yeah,
almost sounds like a push to talk. Yeah.
I just had a couple of thoughts to build on top there. I'll try to remove my soul bias out of this too. So there was actually a precedent for OR. There was something called POW at some point on Sol, maybe like a month or two ago, which is also kind of a mining-ish kind of a thing. But this is, of course, a heavier version of it. It sounds like the patch that they're in process of building is going well. It's going to be fixed quite soon, it looks like. I kind of expect, so I don't know, I still view Sol as Sol at the end of the day. And I kind of expect maybe it may coil things up and then even turbocharge it a little bit more afterwards, especially considering this airdrop came in and NFTs have been sitting. And I think the NFTs that I look at specifically that I think are a good indicator are not like the memes, but more like the utility ones that have been sitting low, because they have actual real value as long as people are using the network, right? They give you access, they give you tools, they sometimes give you airdrops, et cetera, et cetera. And some of them have been very, very low on like a dollar basis, for instance, considering how much activity there is on Sol. So I kind of feel like that's set to pop off sometime soon. And I think this is going to be the kind of thing that, even though it's a little bit of a headache and we can laugh at it, it's going to make the network stronger. And I think it's going to pop from there. That's kind of how I view it.
Well, I kind of have the opposite take, but I mean, sure, like it could send us into a Sol NFT season. Maybe I feel like it just goes back into coins, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of these prices were already pumped from people farming them as well. But I could definitely see your point, though. Like maybe it does.
Yeah, I mean that's good debate, I guess, at the end of the day. And I think also like some of the things, I'm not talking about everything. Some of the things have already pumped to some extent, but there are a handful of things that have not, that have been sitting very, very low for a while. So I kind of look at like the bases and the Merlins and things like that, which of course are starting to drive it, and ordinals, which are starting to drive attention. I just still think there's a lot of people that really, really like Sol. It's kind of it. There's nothing else to it.
No, I get your point, and I think that Sol NFTs probably do come back at some point. It could be, people farm Magic Eden or something,
Yeah,
So,
I think because so far it seems like the airdrop hasn't been like amazing. I think because of that hurts the chances of us getting some kind of like Sol NFT revival, especially like we're seeing Tensorians like absolutely nuke right now. After that airdrop, and it was
All right,
lackluster.
check.
There were
We're
people
trying a
who
new
hold
cord on the
them.
microphone and a new push to talk button. Let's see if
You
it
mean
goes any
muted?
better.
Check if you have
TNT?
Jake muted.
I did want to bring up Magic Eden, and I'm
Can
glad
you?
that you did that,
THC.
JJ, because that's
Do you have
probably the next
everyone
move,
muted,
right?
bro?
Dude, you have everybody muted? THC? Put your headphones in, bro.
Oh my God, they're in. I can hear you, Jen. So I'm all over the place, man.
Can you hear
give me a
Jake?
minute
He was
here.
like in a whole monologue, bro.
No, I can't hear Jake at
Bro.
all. I'm
Can
gonna
you hear me?
disconnect. I'll be back. I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. You're
Jesus.
tuning in to THC Radio.
She's turning into a dictator.
Everyone, shut up. All right, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, your point, Jake, is a fair one. I get your point, Jake. And Tensorian's, dumping and how that was handled is not optimal. I don't disagree with that piece. I also think that I don't think volume's gonna stay on Tensor. Obviously, I think it's just gonna be a quick migration over to Magic Eden. It seems like, right? Like you're suggesting, JJ.
I think for sure it would. I'm more so thinking like JJ said, like probably it just goes back to meme coins. Like I don't know. There's just so many opportunities, like stuff on base right now, ordinals popping off, runes coming up. Macro, like a lot of altcoins are starting to do well now, especially if like Bitcoin ETH starts pumping. Like I just think like why, like I feel like people are gonna be like, why try and like guess if there's gonna be a Sol NFT season instead of just like play what's hot when there's so many other opportunities out there.
Oh,
That's kinda how I
totally
feel.
agree. And not even that, just that. Like you can play what's hot, but also play what isn't, right? Like in terms of farms, like people aren't talking much about Blast Gold, and I think
Yeah,
that's probably going under farmed. And you've been on Cambria since it launched, so
I
you know.
agree. I was actually gonna touch on Blast stuff. I agree. I think right now it's like I even like talking to some people at NFT NYC, just like kind of getting a barometer on stuff. It feels like people are fading Blast right now because it was a rocky launch. Like people were really excited, and then there was it was kind of like the UI wasn't really working, like wasn't like correctly showing points, and people were like, why do we have to connect these sites? And then there's like the big hack of Munchables that scares people away, as well as like it was super expensive to bridge, and it's like annoying to bridge out. I think like these friction points turn people off to Blast who were originally into it, but I still think what Blast enables with the auto yield for all assets, or all like at least ETH and stable coins and Bitcoin and all that. I still think it's super important, and still enables a lot of things like competitive advantages for apps that are on Blast, being able to have that native yield as like a revenue source, that they can go and like reduce fees in other areas or provide incentives in other areas that competitors and other chains can't do, and that's going to lead to a lot of activity. I think people just are naturally going to gravitate towards that eventually, and they're going to see it. I think so. And like you said, like it's just underfarmed right now. I don't think there's a ton of competition as there could be for how big of a airdrop Blast is likely to be, especially with like this Blast Gold stuff. That's going to be, half of the airdrop is going to be this Blast Gold that people are receiving from, these different applications that are giving out, like 100% of theirs. So I think there's some really good ones. Like you said, JJ Cambria is like one of my favorite for sure. It's probably one of the more expensive ones to farm on Blast, because I believe it's like a 3% fee that they take on each duel. But you are also farming like their points, as well as Blast Gold. And you're also getting like some like tokens that you can use for like in-game NFTs. That might, you can speculate that might be worth something eventually as well. So that one's interesting, in my opinion, and I'm just bullish on that game in general. I think, we've had the Cambria thread. If you want to learn more, I actually don't remember if I did a field report on it or not. I feel like I might have. It was a long time ago. But there's some other ones that I want to shout out. Captain and Company. I know a lot of people are playing on Blast. It's like a pirate ship game that you can do. And you can go around and shoot people. That one's like basically the time you're getting paid for like the time that you put in to play this game. So people are farming that game as well. And a couple other ones. I think Seikai Glory is like a trading card game. I haven't looked into it, but I know some people are into that one too. And then District 1 is another one that I think is a good segue to, I wanted to talk about some social fi stuff, but District 1 is a good one as well, where it's basically like friend tech, but you can do like daily like rallies is what they're called, and you can like earn gems that convert into their native token Ole. And it's basically, they call it a social space with money games involved. So honestly, I think it's like kind of cool. It's like very similar to friend tech where you buy shares and stuff. But you could also earn like your buy-in price back if you grind it. So those are all interesting. But yeah, any other Blast stuff that you guys are into right now, or that you're farming?
What do you think about them not telling the users how gold is distributed throughout each dApp?
I think that's normal for the most part for companies to not give out the exact details and how their airdrop is calculated ahead of time. So I'm not super worried about it. Why? Do you have thoughts there?
No, it was just a thought that came across, that all this point stuff is just a way for them to centralize everything, and just the fact that they're not saying anything could be, them doing like what they think is correct. I mean, which is fine.
You're talking about Blast itself, and not like the dApps, as Vin's wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly haven't looked into it enough to like form an opinion on that. I think I do understand the risk there, though, like that they have control of who they give it to, and they're not giving out exact details of how that happens. I'm sure there is that they don't want people to farm it and like game it, but
Yeah, I guess I don't mind it because the whole chain itself is pretty centralized. Like even with the Munchables hack, right? Like people were talking about them like rolling it back and whatever. And I guess some of this you want to be centralized, some of this you don't want. I mean, I'm not really gonna get into that, but for that reason, I guess I'm not worried about the blast gold thing. And I think it actually makes it better for those who are in the weeds, just because to me, like from what I've seen from others that are farming it, it's one farm is good for like a week and then it's bad the next week. So, it's constantly like rotating. And that way, I guess if you're in the weeds, you can have that edge over the other farmers in terms of like how much gold you're getting relative to someone who's just like staking it in juice or whatever, or like putting it all into YOLO play.
Also, some people are going to be scared away because of ambiguity, I think. So probably less
Yeah.
farmed.
Mm-hmm. Ezra says they did say there was a couple of things that they mentioned, like transactions on the contract as well as their commitment to Blast. Like if they didn't join from another chain, if they're like only Blast native, they think they get a bonus. But yeah, any other farms that you guys are in on Blast, or I guess move to something else?
I've been slacking
Space
on it,
President.
but oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I think Spacebar is good as well. It's the same idea. It was like one of those day one apps. Same idea as Captain and Company. It's the same idea in the Captain Company since that you can stake your ETH and you get gold eventually. It seems like you need a decent amount of ETH to stake in order to get points for the gold. But if you are one of those people who don't have the time for this stuff, if you stake your ETH on Captain companies, you get gold, you get points for Blast, which in turn is the gold. And if you stake on Spacebar, you'll get gold as well.
Sick. That's good to know. What is? Could you give like a TLDR what Spacebar is?
I've only been on there twice. One time to stake a little bit gold of the day one, and then like last week to stake a little more gold because I saw I had some gold from there in my dashboard. It's like a social-fi type thing where you have a spaceship and you can go around to other people's bases and look at their some of the NFTs they have and things like that. But the main thing is you're in a spaceship and you WASD around the little map. To go to other people's bases, which seemed kind of dumb to me, but I just cared about staking ETH part and getting gold. Another thing people are farming on is YOLO games. It's more of a degen, more of a degen thing. But if you play Moon and Doom, you can bet on both sides, which in the Discord they said is fine. You can get a decent amount of points on their leaderboard, which qualifies you for their airdrop in the next whenever they're doing the airdrop. And you can have spins, which can get you blast gold and also get you ETH and stuff like that as well.
Is there some sort of fee on playing both sides? Like, I guess they take a percentage, right?
Yeah, they take. I want to say it's either 2 or 3%.
Right.
But with that, the main thing is just making sure that you're getting as close to 2x on both sides as possible. So from what I found, the ETH is a little more volatile. Maybe one side's 2.04 and the other side 1.96. They don't care about you playing both sides because you're not taking money from them. They collect a fee, and then whatever side wins, you're collecting the money from whoever lost. But it seems like Bitcoin is a lot more stable as far as like the 2x multipliers. You still want to bet on one side and your side is like 1.5 and the other side's like 3.5 or something like that. Because then if you lose, even if you bet on both sides, you could still lose money that way if the multiplier isn't 2x on both sides. But there are people in here who have gotten literally hundreds of gold from YOLO.
Yeah, I have to take that one more seriously. I lost too much on YOLO just because whatever luck and trying to play that YOLO games one. I poke the bears okay too. It's not too bad, It's just you might lose once in a while, but yeah, I guess the moon one sounds the most sustainable. That's what I was hearing too. You just got to play it right.
Yeah, the YOLO one is literally YOLOing away your money because you're not going to get it back unless you
you're
have
throwing it away.
hundreds of ETH.
the whales are eating you up. Like you don't think a big whale's coming in, all of a sudden they'll throw 50 ETH at it right before the lock. So yeah, it's kind of bad.
If we were over Blast, I was going next about Merlin chain. And your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm ready to talk about Bitcoin, but let's see if we're done with Blast first. We'll let Jake guide it.
I'm just wondering who
Yeah,
James
no,
was
we
talking
can
to.
wrap that. THC, you back?
I
Here?
think so. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe, dude. Who
Yeah, I
knows?
was
I'm
talking
reporting from
to-
the MVHQ space station, apparently.
Yeah, you're getting rugged on one end, aren't you? You have to check if everything's plugged in, bro.
I think I'm here. I think I'm
Like-
good. I'm hanging on by a fingertip.
Yeah, some other ones I think that are okay are like District 1. That one's like passive, I guess. But yeah,
Rally!
just be careful because the token is multi-chain. So, you could
Yep.
get wrecked on, the price that you get in at, and just make sure that you're trading in just Ole and not your ETH, I guess. But that one seems a little bit more passive. And with Friendtech getting a little bit of volume these past few days, I think that it probably gets steamed up a bit. And then there was one that's called IKB, like I Know Better. If any of you guys are in daily fantasy or like sports betting, and I think that's like it's kind of like Prize Picks, in that you pick like two things and then you put some money on it, and you get blast gold for whatever you lose. I think it is. I haven't started it, but I've just been seeing that one as one that could potentially be good.
Yeah, I forgot who I was talking to, but someone said they were talking to Andy. As this is at NFTNYC, someone was talking to Andy. I don't know. He has some numbers behind his name. He's the founder of this IKB site, and I guess he was saying like the people like who are doing the picks are like for sure more than going to make up for it, with the gold that they receive from like the airdrop. In terms of like the fees that they're paying, the spread or whatever from it. So that could be a good one for sure, especially if you like sports and fuck around. I think they do like daily like NBA stuff, like picks for like stat lines and stuff that you can do.
Yeah, and I guess that's a cool thing about Blast, even though I don't like Rocky Launch, but I guess this incentive to get Blast Gold kind of makes you try like all these different things, right? So I guess that's a win there for Blast.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like you're getting the blast gold and you're also farming these sites, right? Which who knows, like if how valuable that's going to be, like per site. But I would think at least a couple are probably going to do very well, and it will have actually like decent products that people will want to buy up their tokens, and it might be a pretty nice airdrop then too. So I think that's just like a bonus on top of it, along with the blast gold.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better.
Speaking of SocialFi and stuff, there's a lot of hype behind Friendtech. Not to get too off topic, but I'm seeing that the like there's 12 days left or something to farm, and people are getting back into it. It all depends on how much volume I guess you have on buying and selling keys, and the token's up to $6 now. So people are really making one last push. I don't know if you're buying tops now, but if anybody has more knowledge than me on it, please share, because I know that airdrop's going to be huge. And I think most of it's done already, but yeah, this phase or whatever ends in 12 days, I think.
Yeah, just on that $6 thing, I think it was like an index of like the top Friendtech accounts or something. But I mean, I think it's still like around $1. But let me just check.
No, it's way higher than $1. SCOTC sells for at least $4 or $5 constantly, consistently.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'd probably put it around there. It's not like big volume though that these are selling for, so it's kind of hard to like think that that's actually going to be the price.
Right now it's at 545 Friendtech
hello.
points, with over $3 million in volume on whales.
Yeah, it's not something.
Yeah.
I don't mean throw the house at it, but keep an eye on it and see if you can get low lift points. I mean, I'm not taking it that seriously just because I faded it for the last few months. Like after buying the top on it on last summer when everybody was so excited about it. But I had ETH over there still, so I figured, let me just buy some keys and sell some keys and see what happens. Maybe pump up my points a little bit. I'm only about at 300 points, so if I can do a little bit of volume and recoup what I lost this summer, I'll be happy with it.
No, I think that's a great call. I think we likely will get another, like, at least a little bit of a wave here before the airdrop. I mean, Ansem's already talking about a bunch, and he's the main character at the moment. He started buying more like last night, and I saw him tweeting about it, I think this morning too. So I think people are gonna. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of keys are running up right now. I haven't hopped in myself, but I would anticipate there's going to be a wave of friend tech stuff over the next couple of weeks until airdrop. If you want to get involved with that, I personally I don't like the SocialFi stuff. I think it's stupid and I think it's unsustainable. But
I hate it. I agree with you.
but I'd also there's also going to be opportunity there too. So I think it's completely fine to play it. It's not like I'm going to completely fade. I think there are going to be like a couple adjacent plays that could do really well if you want to try and get ahead of the curve on some of this stuff. Like personally, I'm really liking what I'm seeing with DGen over on base with Farcaster. Like I've seen Farcaster kind of had that like initial wave of interest from people. And then died off for a little bit, and now it's like coming back again, and that's really where I start to like what I'm seeing from a product. If it has like the initial like awe factor, and then dies, and then it starts getting back again, that seems like it's like real traction. And then they also are launching they already did launch their own like chain. It's like an L3. I don't really know. I haven't looked deep enough into it to know really what they're doing over there. But just the fact that they have their own chain, I think, helps with the price, where you can price it more towards, some of these loftier, I guess, FTVs and market caps of other coins. So, and I love the ticker. I mean, DGen's amazing ticker. But it's basically like the token of like Farcaster right now, and like base is on fire too, SocialFi. So I think the combo of those things all together has a lot of good things going for DGen right now. I actually have not bought any yet because I'm like not very liquid right now. I'm hoping ETH pumps here, and then I can cash out some longs and I can put some money towards it. But I personally will likely be allocating towards some DGen here soon. Because I think it's going to be one of those plays where people are on Frentech, and then they're going to look at other SocialFi stuff, and I think we get some nice bid across the board for SocialFi apps. And then, like we already mentioned it a couple times, but District 1, I think, is another one. It's like basically Frentech but on Blast. If you want to do a little bit more higher risk, high reward play. But even then, like, you can actually play it and like farm it like for very cheap, if not free. I think for a very small amount. And just like earn gems daily if you want to grind it. Similar to actually DGen too. Like you can go on Farcaster and you can like hopefully get tips from people. They give like allocations to casters where they can like tip a daily amount of DGen to people. Then they have to use it up or it's gone. So you can farm actually both of these for relatively cheap, or you can buy their token, which is already out. And I think, in my opinion, I think they'll both see a nice boost from this like Frentech wave of things where people are looking for the next SocialFi thing that pops off.
One quick thing to add to the DGen stuff, if you guys are looking to get into it or learn more, there is a field report by Ruthless that was dropped last week. It goes over how to bridge over, and then also how to claim a free ERC 721 and a free meme coin, both of which are the first on the chain. So go check that out if you guys are curious and want some help getting bridged in and set up and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Just be careful with DGen chain, because if your money's on there, it takes 7 days to get out. And there's not too much going on the chain itself, but I think that'll come over time. Like I'm with Jake though. Like I think degen is a good buy for the long run. And it's actually it's not just a shit coin. Like there's they have their own side chain. And if you remember, like and if Mr. T and your bridge Doge over to Doge chain and cook the
Yeah.
everlasting hell out of that.
Yeah, I think it has a chance to do well. We like do chains. I think even at least in the short term, there's the first kind of stuff can pop off on them. I haven't tried degen chain yet though, so I'm not gonna fully endorse it. I'm more so talking about. I think I really like the token. For now, I haven't done enough research in the chain yet to give an opinion there, but
I'm a big fan of their logo.
The logo is great and the color.
I dropped a article in voice hangout chat. It's a really good article explaining all about tipping, how it works, and apparently it's lots of intricacies that we didn't think of. Like you can tip a little bit over your allocation by like 4 or 5% if you wanted to give out more tips, and a whole bunch of other stuff that this person found.
Sweet, thank you.
Love it.
Well, no, I mean, only reason I think to pay attention to the degen chain at the moment is if there's like a really good shit coin on there that you can get the first one on, or like same thing with an NFT on there. But otherwise, I wouldn't really play too much around on that chain at the moment.
Use that Mint Club site, JJ, or anybody.
Yeah, I've used it a
Mint
few
dot
times for those things. Yeah, Mint.club is for the degen chain coins. It's like Mint's
Oh yeah,
tokens on bonding curve. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, yeah, I was just kind of poking around, doing a little claiming, but yeah, just want to double check. Fellas, I had a whole field report roundup ready, but I don't dare try that right now, man, with this ruggage that's happening. But there's some fire field reports. It's been 2 weeks since we had an episode, so go check them out. There's a lot in there. Relic CK dropping heat. Silva's got a really good one about new farms. Some really good stuff in there. Nitmazal dropped 2 of them. So just this heat, a macro from Shaggy. Guys, go give it a read. There's some really good content in there.
Yeah, I love it. There's been a lot popping off lately. I'm excited. I mean, I'm so excited to like get back into it. I was off like almost all of last week with NFT NYC stuff and doing a little family vacation. But now like I think market's gonna fire on all cylinders. We haven't even talked about memes, but the meme coin cycle hasn't stopped yet, in my opinion. Like I think there's still another leg up to go for a lot of these big memes as well. There's still stuff popping off on Sol and on Base, and where I'm like really gonna probably focus my time once it happens, or at least I'm gonna at least try and get a head start as well is these rune stuff. I just think like shit coins on Bitcoin, like it just makes so much sense. I think we talked about this briefly last cycle or last episode as well, but runes will start dropping at the happening. I'm sure Ross and Waff are going to talk about this later on their show, so we don't have to cover it a ton. But I just wanted to say that I'm like super bullish on everything that's going to go on with runes, especially early on when they first drop. I think there's going to be some really good opportunities, and that's going to be a pretty big area of focus of mine over the next few weeks here.
Hell yeah! I think
Jake,
the rune stones are pumping.
Yeah, they are. Everything's pumping there. Is Boss Dogs today? Because if it is, I'm just gonna like hint at some stuff,
Yeah.
and I won't. Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
today at 5 Eastern. What were you gonna say, JJ?
No, I was just gonna ask, where do you guys put pups in all this?
Near the top, probably, just because of how many like shillers are pushing it and how strong the puppet narrative is. It's probably gonna be one of the better performing ones, I think. If it hasn't already pumped too much, like this was just crazy what happened.
No, because I know like people talk about runes as like the shit coins, or maybe I don't understand it too well, but that's kind of how I saw it. But I feel like we already kind of have shit coins with BRC 20s,
Yeah, but they're they're gonna work differently. I think I don't know all the details per se, but I feel like they're gonna be less strain on the main on the actual chain, the way they work. So people are gonna be able to ape runes and trade them more freely and quicker and all that, without having to really do the whole BRC thing. So it might change the game on how people trade them, and that's why they're going to be more like shitcoins because of the way they move.
Yeah, well
Yeah,
said.
I
I think the
mean,
TLDR is they're hoping it overtakes like BRC20s. I think it's by the ordinals guy, and yeah, it's more efficient on the chain and stuff.
yeah. No, I get it. I might be mid curving it, but I don't see it. But yeah, like I can't deny the hype there.
Yeah, I wouldn't fade the hype honestly. If anything, it doesn't mean you have to go all in, but keep an eye on it because I don't remember the last time I saw this much pre-hype for something. So many people trying to set up. This is something we're going to talk about later, I guess, but everybody I talked to, even in NFT NYC, like I met up with some really big brains in the Bitcoin community. The best thing I did, other than the MVHQ stuff, which I love, the best thing I did was go on that Pizza Ninjas trip because I met some really big brains, some top dogs in the Ordinals community, and got to see how they think and where they think this is going. And the main thing that I kept hearing was set up a node because all the main channels are going to get congested because of how runes are just like so hype. And that's something I'm learning to do right now. What it requires is basically real quick is gonna be like a software from Casey Rorimer, the creator of Ordinals, something he put together, and it's gonna require a 2 terabyte SSD. You're gonna have to install that software on the SSD and basically create a node. I could drop some documents or whatever somewhere. I was even thinking of doing a write
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
I guess I'm less excited about the runes themselves. Like I think that's kind of like I don't know, like the side piece, I guess. Like to me, the cool thing is pretty much unlocks like Bitcoin DeFi, right? And I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
DeFi is like where you get a lot of this volume. Like you see it on like Solana right now. You see it on like um all these chains. But again, maybe I might be mid curving it, but I just think like that's like the extra piece. Whereas the main thing is like the DeFi, I guess.
Yeah.
So I should go
I
buy some Merlin swap.
I mean that's all cool too. I mean I'm 100% in on all the L2s that are Bitcoin but not really Bitcoin. I agree with that. Um but I feel like right now because it's so tied with the halving, I guess everything is really right now, but like just you can see the floors on these runes and rune stones and how much airdrops they're getting and how many runes they have locked in them already. How many runes people have been mining, what their pre-sale price for some of these runes are. I mean, some of it does look unsustainable, but the main market movers and are probably going to have a good foothold, and they're going to be here for a while. So they're, you know what I mean. It's going to be important to kind of find out which ones have a chance and keep an eye on those. I think it's going to get diluted fast, but there's still going to be some that'll rise to the top, like with any other new technology we have. And I think it's good to be early. Like we saw it with ordinals when they first came out. It was everybody faded them because they were so hard to do, right? And then nobody could really figure it out. And whoever was there from the beginning made a killing. And I think in general, Bitcoin is very hard to ignore. No matter what comes out on Bitcoin, you should be paying attention to because it's been the easiest cooks and it's been the ones that have been the most sustainable. And also Bitcoin has the most money out of all the chains. So whatever comes out there, I'm paying attention to. It doesn't mean I'm going to ape with all my portfolio, but yeah, I'm keeping an eye on everything there.
No, I think that's an excellent way to put it.
Love it. Covering his own topics today. Yeah, I'm interested to hear Waf and Ross's take later today on this stuff because they're much more in the weeds than I am. It feels like a never-ending thing where I just like want to get more into Bitcoin, and I just haven't dove in as much as I want to, even though I'm very bullish on it going forward. But I'm hoping that changes here real soon with this weird stuff. So,
Feels
anything
like
else you guys
trudging.
wanted to?
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say it feels like trudging through the mud. Like it's so slow.
Yeah,
Like,
I
just so
know, man.
difficult. I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. That's the main reason I haven't got into it is that it annoys me.
Sorry, good.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, anything else before I guess we at least wrap up the show? And I mean, we're all still chill and stuff, but what's up, Jinzo?
I'll touch on Pizza Ninjas since I went to their party and I got a bunch of alpha. Just quick, they have the beta access right now for the new platform. They reworked it all, and I think holders can test it at beta.ninjaalerts.com. I haven't done it yet, but I heard it's really good. Another thing is you'll notice the floor rolls like crazy. It was at 0.04 before NFT NYC, but after everything that they said and like all the meetings, how good they were, and like the thing doubled overnight. It's at 0.09 now or 0.085 for the Bitcoin for the Pizza Ninjas. They're also doing an airdrop to holders. He shared the alpha while we were there. They're releasing a Tamagotchi style game, and those eggs that he kept hinting on Twitter are basically going to be Tamagotchis that you feed. You feed them a bunch of different drugs, and the drugs will kind of make them react differently. Some drugs will make it stop eating but grow faster. Like it's some weird things like that are going to happen. He didn't release all the info publicly yet, but I think each ninja is going to probably get like 10, since there's only 1,500 supply of ninjas. I think each one is going to get 10 of these eggs, and then you'll be able to feed them however you want. And a small percent will be alive at the end. So it's going to be one of those games. I think only 5% will become immortal, he calls them. I guess those are like the rarest ones, since they're going to be the only ones to make through. And the supply should be around the 40,000 for this collection. So I think this is launching right before the halving. They're trying to do their best to have it launch before the halving. So that's cool. They're working on a little game on Bitcoin. And yeah, other than that, just a lot of info about nodes and runes, and everybody's excited about it. I've been to a lot of different events and stuff, and I never like talked to so many people that were so knowledgeable about something, about a chain, or about like things that are coming out. It wasn't a shill fest. It was really, really like I learned a lot from going there. So can't wait for the show tonight.
That's cool. Is it all on chain, like you feed them, or is it like off chain?
I think it's on chain, but I have to confirm. Like he showed it to us real quick. I remember that question coming up, but I don't remember where we landed on that.
Like, is that tied in with runes? Because like, the cheaper prices and all that. But so I imagine it's if it's on chain, like that'd be pretty frustrating. Otherwise,
you're not waiting 10 minutes for a transaction, and you're not going to be paying
10
high
minutes
gas.
is
I
paying
remember
$20.
that. Yeah, I'll confirm all that with Trevor. It might even they're able to play SNES on their Pizza Ninjas, so I'm sure he found a way around that. Or it might come out with runes, or it might be on an L2. I really don't know. I have to touch base with him, and I'll have more info for tonight.
Great alpha. Thank you, Jinzo. I have one more thing, but I'm going to wait until Jake is in the middle of a monologue. No, I'm just kidding. I got nothing else, man. I think we've covered it pretty well here. Jake, do you have any final thoughts or topics that you wanted to cover?
No, that's it for now. I just want to reiterate that I think we're very close to I think what could be a pretty substantial, I don't want to say parabolic, but a pretty insane run that could happen for Bitcoin, and then the rest of the market as well. I'm feeling very bullish, especially this week. Hoping we get back above like 74. If we get to like 74K, then it's like, in my opinion, it's like all gas, no brake season from there on out. That's what I'm looking at. Not financial advice. But yeah, just very bullish.
Personally, I think it's going to send on April 15th at 12 Eastern. But you guys are just going to have to tune into the next episode of Wake and Jake to find out on that day. That's just my thought.
It's when everyone realizes they owe much more than they thought, and they're like, I guess I have to gamble more.
Got to make it all back.
Gotta make it all back. But no, I love those shouts. I'd say for me, like, even though it's like a really good time to be shitcoining and all that stuff, it's also a great time to be farming. And I think GameFi comes back around eventually. Like, THC and I talk about this a bit. Like, there's a bunch of games you can farm right now and it's pretty low to mid effort, I'd say. Like there's this game Wild Forest that's on like mobile, and you can farm that. They have a plate airdrop campaign going on. It's like 30 minutes every 2 days or something, and it's gonna be on. It is on Ronin, and I think anything that touches Ronin is gonna be a cook. So we've seen Pixels on there, and I think Aperon. Shout out to Ragged Prince for that one. But I just think the trend continues. Ronin and Prime being the big winners, I think, this cycle.
To that point about Prime, I just wanted to make a quick shout about Parallel. You can spend like $30 on a starter deck and make like half a Prime a day, spending like an hour or two a day. Playing the game. If you spend like $35 on a Markolian starter deck, and you spend an hour and a half a day playing and just get your 5 wins a day, it's like half a Prime a day.
That's a good shot. And to that note, Markolian is like if you ever played card games, it's like the aggressive deck. And I'd say if you're playing these things to farm, I'd optimize for time. So go with the aggressive decks.
I guess one last warning too, since we're here. Shitcoins have been going on for a while, and people, you always feel FOMO when you see people winning. But I guarantee you, most of those people are throwing a lot of those profits back into the next plays because they start playing too big and stuff. Don't FOMO into shitcoins. Just be careful and be smart with your portfolio. You don't want to be losing all your funds now because people seem like they're making big wins, and you're just gonna eat away all your crypto trying to catch a pump and become like everybody else. I'm telling you, I talked to a lot of people even off the main channels that come into my DMs, and they made like 1,000 SOL and then round tripped it all in the next few plays, and they feel bad about it, and they're looking to up their mental game because they made big mistakes. Don't buy into all those big wins you see. A lot of the even on Twitter, like you'll see people boast about millions of dollars they made, but I bet you anything they're putting a lot of it back in and starting to feed into that gambling mentality. I mean, it's a lot of people are embarrassed about the losses, so they don't talk about them. But I'm telling you, a lot of people that you even saw in here make big wins, threw them back in. So we usually give these warnings often when shitcoin season comes around. We're usually pretty good about it. This one is in hyperdrive. You could make money, but just play with tight rules and be safe because it's much easier to throw it all back than it is to make it. Just be safe when you play shitcoins. Like we have that channel up, and we do it because we're all degens and stuff. But I think it should come with many warnings, and I think everybody should be very, very, very careful what they play and how they play. It's really about how you play it, not, you know what I mean? Try to do wealth preservation more than trying to hit for those home runs.
It's excellent point. Jinzo, I think like shitcoin season will probably sustain, and like it's been ridiculous. It's been too hot. And just tickers going to like 10 mil, 60 mil. And I think it's still, pretty early, still good, but at the same time, like you got to be disciplined, just like you're saying. And if you are shitcoining, try not to gamble, and what do I mean by that? It's like there's all these tools out there to give you an edge. Like, why not use that edge, right? Like I know a lot of the space is edge gambling, and so like if you're not going in with like wallet trackers, or if you're not going in with like TweetDeck, like you're pretty much probably playing minus EV, right? Unless you just conviction hold something, because I still think that beats um a lot of these like degen plays. But yeah, like if you're not tracking and you don't know, like someone just sniped 90% of the supply and you're buying, it's like you're just asking to get dumped on. So like use these tools. Like we did have an AMA in here with Cielo. That I think that's like the best wallet tracker tool for coins, and it's pretty good for NFTs as well. But yeah, just try to go in it with an edge. So I think your words of caution are really good.
Yeah, I think it needed to be said. I was going to make an announcement about it actually, but then NFT NYC rolled around, and I see there's a lot of us in here, so I took the time to do it. But really, just take your initial lot as fast as possible. Don't overplay. Like if you're making 100 solo on one play, you shouldn't be playing 50 on the next. Keep playing small. Make those small gains into big gains if you want to, but don't Don't overdo it. You're not going to become a millionaire in 2 trades. Like that's a very small percentage of people. So take it slow.
I don't know.
And
You see Bando.
yeah.
And,
Oh, Bando made some mistakes too, man. Like you know what
no,
I
I know.
mean? He
He
he's
is
done
cooking,
good, but
though.
yeah,
He
it's
is
at the
cooking.
same time he's like, not to get too off topic, but he's running a
Mhm.
Twitter. I mean a Telegram now. I love his Telegram, but a lot of the times he's buying and then posting, and
It's
there's
exit
like hundreds of
liquidity.
people
Yep.
in there now, right? So like a lot of the times he'll hold to zero because he feels bad for people in there. They bought honeypots or it dumps or whatever, and he doesn't want to dump on them. But he's playing. It's good to track, but at the same time, it's also a double-edged sword. You're giving up your name, you know what I mean, for a pump. And I love Bando and I love that channel. I use it too. I love the indicators he throws in there, but don't ape everything you see, because a lot of the times with 300 people buying at the same time, it's gonna pump irrationally and you're just gonna lose.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was getting to, like with getting an edge, right? Like even in that small example, if you're tracking his wallet, right? Like you get it before he posts. Like if he posts it, so you're getting a better entry. So it's just things like that, right? Like I'd say with shit coins, either you buy like the ones you're gonna hold, or just go into it with and try to get an edge. Just track wallets and stuff.
Yep, good
Because
job,
like
JJ. Good
the
reminder.
the tech, sorry, one more thing.
Oh,
Like
you're
the tech advantage in coins is unbelievable, right? Even Sol compared to ETH, like coins, is just ridiculous. Like ETH coins are really hard. Like with the bribes, I mean, you see like 50 ETH, 60 ETH bribes on like the hype ones, and on Sol, their tech advantage is just monumental, like compared to ETH. Like so
Yep.
against the best potters. I mean, you see Zhao. Zhao has one of those advantages, right?
Yeah.
And he's got the tech, and he's out sniping like all these guys.
Dude,
So
there's that
it's just,
slippage guy that keeps making millions on every play because he has
dude,
this
he
really
has the
good
best
setting.
tech. Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing we didn't talk about. Sorry, not to extend this. I'm sure people have things to do, but we didn't talk about base at all. We didn't talk about base at all in this show.
Dude,
Those
base
NFTs
NFT
are
has been
going
popping.
crazy. Yes, that's another thing people should be paying attention to. I'm not saying buy any NFT you see, but I mean, there's things that just pump from 0.003 up to 0.8 to 0.5. I
Like
mean, low
those
risk, high
Gaias.
reward plays in there. Yeah.
You see those on-chain Gaias from Cena's, for the Warpcaster guy?
Yeah,
He
I
got
would
popular
send
through Warpcaster.
really, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but they were like 0.03 last month, and they're like 1.7 now. Like it's or 1.6. I don't know exactly where, but they're above the.
If anybody's looking to do a bit of base, there's definitely one account you need to track and put notifications on, and it's Jesse. It's like the Ansem of
Jesse Pollock.
Oh, bro, anything he tweets about, it's crazy.
No, isn't he? He's like on
He
the
works for base, I
team or
think.
something. Yeah, there you go.
Something. But he's tweeted about some of these projects, and he's one of them. Him and Ansem, actually, Ansem too does it, but he's one of the main reasons these things pump. Like he'll say, "Oh, base punks," and then all of a sudden, base punks will go from 0.03 or whatever they were all the way to 0.5 or 0.6. So if you're looking for something that's requires less liquidity, still, I think, even though many eyes are starting to hop over there, if you're looking for something that's less liquidity, low lift, low risk, and could pump heavily, it's definitely base NFTs. Keep an eye on those. They're on OpenSea now. They're on a lot of different exchanges. So, yeah, maybe something just to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and track Jesse's wallet. It's not hard to find, so you can see what he's buying.
I'm done hijacking the show now. Jake and THC. It's gonna go off.
Sorry, guys.
You're good, man. This is what it's all about. This is beautiful. I'm over here taking notes on my notepad.
Sounds like we need a Jinzo and JJ show as well, huh?
Let's go.
Oh, come on. The more the merrier over here.
Triple J. There it is.
Triple J.
I love it.
All right, fellas.
No,
Well,
those
sorry, I was gonna say unless anybody has anything else they want to squeeze in here, yeah, I think we can go ahead and at least stop the recording here, like cut the episode here. You guys are obviously more than welcome to kick it all day and talk market. Sorry we missed the base stuff, but yeah, appreciate you guys jumping in and sharing your voice and getting in the conversation and stuff. I got nothing else. Jake, any parting words?
No,
It's like the third time, so I understand if not.
Yeah,
no,
I
you're
apologize.
good. No, you guys are great. I think we touched on so much shit, and I think that it's kind of just an indicator of where we are in the market right now. There's just a ton of opportunities out there. I don't think you have to feel bad that you missed out on like a certain thing on like a certain chain, and like if you missed out on like these basements, right? Or if you haven't been hitting on shit coins or whatever. I think we're entering a season. I think we already are in, but I think it's only going to get better. Where there's going to be more and more opportunities in a lot of different places. So just kind of find the things that you feel comfortable with and that you have, conviction in, and like don't worry as much about missing out on other plays. I think, there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming around in this cycle. So that's all I'll end us with.
Eyes forward, baby.
Beautifully said. Eyes forward. And we will catch you guys next week at 12 Eastern. Thank you, everybody.